please welcome back to the stage, John Tashek.
Hey, everyone. I think, is my mic on? Hello. Come in, everyone. The social hour is now over. Yes, that's why we bring up this team here. No, I'm just kidding. So it's my privilege to welcome John Samorjai, who will I'll introduce you, then you introduce who is here. And there's a slide here that I don't have the clicker, so thank you. All right, so John and I have worked for a long time together, and John is probably one of the most powerful venture capitalists in the world, and you probably don't know that. But Salesforce Ventures is huge for us, not only for investing in companies, but acquisitions as well. And John's been such a key part of the Salesforce ecosystem and success. So it's my privilege to welcome John Samorjai, and John, your panel.
Great, thank you, John. And it's really great to be with all of you again this year. You know, I had the opportunity to sit through the last session, and one of the things that I thought was really impactful is how our AI investments that the ventures team has done over the past years has really influenced our product direction. And if you think about what we've done is, you know, Salesforce Ventures, we've invested about $6 billion. We introduced a $1 billion AI fund a couple of years ago. We've now deployed 850 million of it. We expect to deploy the rest of it by the end of the fiscal year. And these are into the really fast-growing companies in our industry, and we bring all the learnings from what we invest in back to our product teams so they really understand what's going on in the market, what are customers adopting. And it's very, very important, I think, for Salesforce to keep doing this. So I've been at the company 20 years. I'm responsible for both of our acquisitions strategy as well as our investment strategy. And what we wanted to do today is really talk about how are enterprises adopting AI? How are they using it? What's real? And how is it impacting productivity of their companies? And I wanted to bring up three of the really fast-growing companies in our portfolio that many of you may not know. And so what I thought we would do is start by having each of them introduce themselves. So Evan, start with you.
Hey everybody, I'm Evan Smith. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Altana. We are the network for trusted trade. So we have an AI-powered platform that connects buyers with their suppliers and their suppliers to manage a product value chain. So what is the goods, the physical goods that I make, and what are the inputs to those goods and those goods and those goods as you go down the chain. We then connect that to governments to actually create a bridge from the private sector to the public sector. And a week ago, we launched with US Customs and Border Protection what we're calling the Global Entry for Goods. So it's a way to connect the full supply chain network from raw materials to intermediate goods to the finished products being imported into the United States through a continuously monitored and screened with AI network for pre-clearance and pre-validation purposes.
I'm Daniel First. I'm the founder at Axion. So American manufacturing is booming, but product failures are a huge issue impacting many different industries. If you think about medical device recalls or electric vehicle recalls, airplanes that are having issues in the hands of airlines, or data centers that are rapidly being built out but facing power and energy challenges, product quality issues are a major problem for manufacturers across industries, which means that American manufacturers that are trying to be competitive by releasing high quality products that deliver exceptional customer experiences are really challenged when the products end up having many failures. And so our mission is really to help American manufacturers bring the best products to market that customers love. The problem that manufacturers have is that though they know who their customers are and they know what their parts are, they actually don't know what issues are impacting their customers. And when issues arise, it can be months to years until they find out. And so Axion, we're an operating system for customer-centric manufacturing that enables manufacturers to learn about emerging issues that are impacting their customers at the earliest warning signal. And so we work across aerospace with folks like Boeing and RTX, different players in the data center supply chain, whether Cummins Power Systems, Daikin HVAC, Schneider Electric, medical devices like Medtronic, and consumer appliances like SharkNinja, to help them bring the best products to market that customers love.
Hi, everyone. Diego Lamonto. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Ryder. Ryder is a full-stack, end-to-end platform for enabling enterprises to build, activate, and supervise AI agents in their business. We are laser-focused on the enterprise. The more complex the business, the better it is for us. We are focused on core operational mission-critical workflows that run the business. So we're not a customer-facing chatbot. We're not even a personal productivity tool. We're there to help companies take their mission-critical workflows and bring AI into them to make them more AI native where appropriate, to run better, more productive, and more efficient. We have been around since 2020. Our co-founders, May and Wasim, worked together previously in a previous AI company that they started, saw how difficult it was to bring AI into production back in the NLP days. And when the Transformer white paper hit the scene in the late 2010s, they immediately saw the potential, but also knew that this was going to be really difficult for enterprises to implement, and so they built a whole company around it, and that is Ryder.
Great. And I'd love to ask each of you, what do you see as the key differentiation of your technology, and what would prompt a customer to adopt it? Maybe give a specific example.
So over the last 7 years, we've built the world's largest supply chain data corpus. So it's a knowledge graph that covers most of the companies on Earth, their physical locations, the nature of those operating locations, the ownership structures that connect them, and then most importantly, the physical flows of goods between them. So you get this bottoms-up view of the fabric of the world's physical economy. We process billions and billions and billions of shipment records, customs declarations, purchase orders, and that gives you this graph of who buys and makes what and connects with whom through the network. So that data asset is of course fed by publicly available data, but the very novel thing and differentiated thing is that each of our customers connecting to the platform is making their data available for learning, and they are contributing to that graph. So they're training models, and they're actually building out network visibility. So as Target manages their suppliers and their suppliers on our platform, all that data is building out the network visibility for everybody else. As Deere, as Maersk, as UPS. So we have these massive organizations with very differentiated data holdings contributing to a data flywheel. So that's the foundation. And then what we've learned along the way is that to be operational, an outside-in view is not sufficient. So in other words, we have been investing into a system of record for the products of our customers. So product master data, like what is your bill of materials? Who are the suppliers of those goods? Where are they on Earth? Who owns them, et cetera? And we've been connecting the flows of data from system to system to system so that you can really know and manage that value chain in an authoritative way. And on top of that foundation of both visibility and then master data, you can actually get operational. So we have this differentiated data flywheel, we have an operational data foundation, and now that we're in this sort of AI native workflows on top of that, you're in a place to do something credible and have the kind of trust and governance built into the platform that actually gets to a real outcome.
There obviously was this very well-cited MIT study that 95% of the enterprise AI pilots are not making it to production. And at Axion, actually, roughly 90% of our pilots do make it to production. And the reason is that we're approaching enterprise AI really differently. Many of the reasons that enterprise AI pilots fail is because there's human knowledge that the AI models don't have access to, and so users end up not trusting, rightfully so, the models. There's process issues, which is that you often need process redesign in order to really have healthy adoption. And then there's often a gap between insight and action, which is AI models could produce insight, but who's actually supposed to take action on this? And so by virtue of us being hyper-focused on helping manufacturers learn about issues at the earliest warning signal, root cause those problems, why are there L2, L3 escalations, and ultimately drive them to fix, we've been able to build out a number of specialized technologies that are able to overcome these challenges. One, for example, is that we have a human in the loop or expertise in the loop layer in our platform that enables customers to, when they see the AI surfacing insights that don't match their engineering expertise, they're able to fix it. For example, let's say you're an engineer at Harley Davidson, and you're trying to figure out why are my motorbikes failing in the field. The AI might give you one explanation, but you actually have expertise about the way that the wire harnesses work or fail in this particular set of motorbikes. And so we've built human-in-the-loop interfaces that both internally at Axion, we have subject matter experts, but also at our clients, you're able to embed your engineering expertise into the models in a seamless way so that the AI is able to learn from your knowledge of the products. And that's been really critical for adoption.
Yeah, for Ryder, what has differentiated us, first of all, what is differentiation in AI? It's a very, very noisy space. It's a very hard thing to not only achieve, but then actually make clear to the world. And as the CMO, that's the toughest part of my job. But for Ryder, differentiation has evolved over time. It started with being the full stack platform for enterprise AI, which a year, 2 years ago was differentiated. The approach that we saw immediately post ChatGPT was CIOs wanted to build all this stuff and bring all this stuff, all these different piece parts together and build the tech stack. And while that was happening, we went in with this full stack platform that was just fast to value, fast to outcomes, and easier than building it yourself, including the LLMs. We have our own LLMs. We build our own LLMs. That has really helped us accelerate and grow. Over time, as more platforms come into the market and we start to see more competition from the hyperscalers in particular, our ability to kind of be the Switzerland of enterprise AI has been a big benefit for us as well. Business processes don't happen in one platform. They happen across multiple platforms, multiple tools. And when you're trying to take a process and bring AI into it and give an agent the ability to orchestrate it, you need a tool that's really designed to work across multiple platforms. The other aspect of what differentiates us is that we recognize the value of both IT and the business, and the builders and the supervisors working together hand in hand to agentify these tasks. If you don't have IT buying in, if they don't feel like they have transparency, guardrails, the security that they need to really feel comfortable with an AI tool, you're doomed. If you don't have the business bringing the use cases and bringing the subject matter experts to the development process and getting hands-on, you're also doomed. And so we've really developed a strong platform that caters to both sides of the equation. And then finally, this is super fuzzy and warm feelings, but we bear hug our customers. We know how complicated that this stuff is. In fact, I posit that if we paused the technology 2 years ago and that's all we had, we would still see the most massive transformation in enterprise just on the technology from 2 years ago. Keeping up with the technology, keeping up with the changes, taking this really complex stuff into the most complex businesses in the world, we have a really strong customer-focused, customer success lens that we ensure that our customers get to success.
So it'd be interesting, I think, for this group to understand what are the characteristics of a customer that make them ready to implement this technology? Like, what do you see as good practice there? Anyone?
Yeah, well, ours is interesting because we have a product and platform that it just inherently is multi-threaded through an organization, meaning the chief supply chain officer or the chief procurement officer might be the executive sponsor and ultimate economic buyer, but we'll have users in compliance and finance and global trade management and sourcing. So the implication then is that you kind of go in with a big story, a big transformation message. You do need the exec sponsorship to buy into that transformation message. But then you need a starting point, and you need a user group who is sufficiently motivated or forced to adopt and do something different, and then start the journey. So we've learned if we don't have that buy-in to the premise of business transformation, hey, today you manage customers and you manage suppliers, and that's kind of how your software works and that's how your business process works. Altana is going to help you manage the network around you, the suppliers, the customers. And we're going to help you even connect that to the government. That's a provocative message. So we need that top-down sponsorship, and that weeds out a lot of the kind of early adopter cohort in the go-to-market. And then, like I said, you can sort of get executives excited about the vision, but you have to start somewhere, and you have to build incremental wins, and that's where you need a team that's sufficiently either forced to or motivated to adopt and have a real clear scope.
The ideal customer for us is one that takes delivering exceptional customer experiences really seriously and is really committed to building very high-quality products and sees that as critical to their strategy to compete. There's obviously a tremendous amount of conversation today about AI in manufacturing and automation and robots, and one could come away with the impression that the impact AI will have on manufacturing is about reducing costs, and that it is true that AI will reduce costs, but the best partners for us are ones that see the potential for AI to help understand what issues are my customers facing, how can I innovate and create new products or fixes to my existing products that will deliver exceptional experiences so that when the customer is encountering a broken product, they bring it to the dealership and they're really having a negative experience, the engineering team is able to learn about that and rapidly turn around a fix.
Yeah, I almost want to say ditto to what Evan said about leadership. So, our customers are some of the largest companies in the world: Qualcomm, Prudential, Marriott, Goldman, Vanguard. We operate in the zone of these really complex, large enterprises that have huge employee bases that may not be motivated really to become AI first or AI native. In fact, a lot of the workforce there have been they're great at what they do, and they've been doing it for many years, and asking them to take a process and help the organization figure out how to agentify it is a little scary, and often creates more work for them than just doing it the way they've always done it. So what you need is leaders that are leading from the front, leading by example, really putting it on the line and showing how they're leading the way by agentifying the things that they work on every day and creating an environment where it's rewarded to be that type of person, both from a carrot, recognition, bonuses, the stuff that makes people feel really good about what they're doing and recognized, and even a stick. And by that I mean KPIs, measurements. How are we improving productivity? How are we bringing AI into how we're doing it and measuring the pace and progress of that?
It would be helpful, I think, if you gave a specific customer example of how they're using each of your products, but also some learnings that they have given you that you've brought back into how you've developed the product further.
So, as you might imagine, trade and tariffs are top of mind for most of our customers, and so the thing that's surprising. So, a little bit of backstory: we've spent the year investing in this whole agentic layer to automate the function of classifying your goods, figuring out their country of origin from a trade rules standpoint, navigating the free trade program qualification, and then ultimately calculating the duties that you owe the government. And that's a moving target because every tweet changes the rules. So, and inherently, this is a system that only AI can rise to the occasion on. So we've been rolling this out through an early access program, and now it's in beta. It'll GA in probably 6 weeks. And the big learning for us is that the user group of this feature set of this product, which is in the traditional trade compliance function of the business, is at best skeptical and at worst hostile to the product. This is their moment in the sun. They're in weekly tiger teams with the CFO, and they've never been more important, right? And they are skeptical of artificial intelligence doing anything valuable in their space. And then what we've learned is that the real executive pitch is we can move this trade compliance expertise left in your business process. We can bake it into the sourcing and even product design decision-making. We can bake it into the supplier onboarding and qualification. We can bake it into your bill of materials so that you just know what the tariffs are, and as the rules change, it'll just be there natively. And so it's been a complicated kind of account management and sales strategy to have your user group suspicious and sometimes hostile, and then your ultimate buyer to be entirely separate from that traditional user group in the enterprise. So I'm sure that experience isn't unique.
Yeah, I think for us, quite similarly, when we initially were going to market with our product, it really was used by quality and CX leaders who were trying to learn about the earliest warning signals that there's an emerging issue on their products. But then for some of our customers, we started noticing that they were adding tens or even hundreds of users onto the platform from other departments. And so for example, at companies like Daikin or SharkNinja, though initially we were used by the quality and by the CX team, we started noticing that there were people on the product strategy and the engineering team who were being added to the platform. And when we started speaking with them, we realized that though initially we were helping the quality and the CX team react to and fix issues that were on the products that had already been released, the product strategy teams and the engineering teams were able to then use the data that was created there as a strategic asset to inform the strategy for the next wave of products. And so I think what's great is that when you have the right partners, they often will lead you in the right direction in terms of the ways that the data that's being created by the users using your platform can help other groups.
Yeah, I'll give two quick examples. Qualcomm would be the first, where we were brought in by the marketing organization, and Don McGuire is a great CMO. Really cares about the company being progressive and being associated with AI, obviously. And we had great success in that department, but they also created a program management team around AI that shepherded this all, that was sort of that bridge between IT and the business. And Brent, who's on that team, who is the AI program lead, was able then to bring the technology to the rest of Qualcomm. And so we saw it quickly expand to product, to legal, to HR, to sales, across the whole business by having that really strong program manager in between. And then the second quick example I'll give is Mars, global pet and food manufacturer, pet food and snack manufacturer. They had the executives and the leaders roll up the sleeves in a workshop, map the core map the core business challenges and processes, and we took the whiteboard and the whiteboard screenshots down to the next level and showed that team this is how management wants to re-architect these processes, and that inspired it. So really, picking back up on the theme of having leadership buy-in and the right people evangelizing across.
Okay, before we go to Q&A, last question: what's the biggest opportunity for growth over the next year for each of you?
Global entry for goods.
All of the different manufacturing industries that are helping America create phenomenal data centers as rapidly as possible.
Just continuing on with the massive TAM of enterprise workflows that can be agentified.